Thank you. First, my name is Tran. Right. I left Vietnam really long time ago. So this is kind of great to be back. But first of all, how many people have been to my talk yesterday? Good. Okay. So half of you. So when the organizer asked about to share my experience overseas and maybe some differences and compared to Vietnam and what some takeaway I can provide to the audience Vietnam, maybe provide them some insights on follow their own journey. So I thought about the concept of minds, heart, and hands, which is I think quite universal to all of us. And some of them I think there are some gaps between Vietnam and international places that have been. So just spend time, this is my journey, but I hope that some of pieces in there that you can also reflect on your own, personal experience and your own circles, friends and family, right? Okay, so briefly, mind, hearts and hands. Let me go this way. The agenda, really quick, just for a minute, I just talk about my background a little bit. 5 minutes about, sorry, this is my bad. This is from the other side. Anyway, so let's just talk myself and we talk about ourselves. Yeah. Okay, hope it's wrong. Sorry. Okay. All right. So real quick on myself. So this is so long because I'm kind of old, right? So I born in 1971, but this is more my career. I went to MIT in the United States, and then I went to Japan after that for 4 years. Then worked with a whole bunch of different startups. Worked with Samsung in Korea on and off Korea for 10 years. And then now, actually going to Vietnam and see, we kind of explore new things and some things I find about Vietnam. As mentioned, I left Vietnam a long time ago. It's more from the unfortunate events of war. I born my mom from the north, from Hanoi, my dad from Hue, and I was born in Saigon. Unfortunately, my family caught into the whole war situation. And we were one of the bold people that left Vietnam within 1977. I personally attempted to leave Vietnam 7 times. So when at that young age, it was quite difficult. Quite difficult because I think the concept we don't know much. I didn't know much about war. I didn't know what happening to the country. But I just have to constantly have to leave it. Right? So it was a very confusing time for me and my family. So my early memory of Vietnam, unfortunately, is just about war, hunger, and despair. So I didn't have much of fond memory about how beautiful Vietnam was and how beautiful the kinds of people you could have met. Sorry, I don't know what's happening with the slides. Oh no, what happened? Is this the last slide? How many? On 4? Oh no. It's like 40 something slides. Technical difficulty. Be back. Sorry, technical difficulty, mostly my fault. There was a lot of slides missing. So I'm supposed to sing and dance, but anybody can sing and dance better than me? Anybody have better life story? And this is your time. I guess kind of wing it, okay? All right, I'll send the slides later. So, yes, so I left Vietnam, wartime. It's got a difficulty. So when I got to the States, it was really reverse of fortune for my family. And I think this is something you probably heard a lot. My mom was an entrepreneur, so she actually quite successful. Many stores and cars and businesses, and I think it was quite comfortable in Vietnam. But when we got to the United States, we were basically penniless, right? A lot of people took pity of us and gave us like a bicycle. The whole family had one bicycle, right? Basically to commute to work and everything else. For my mom, it was actually difficult and challenging for her because people change. You meet people, and people change when you have reverse in fortune. I think that's something that's just a part of really difficult time. So she started again everything. She started to cleaning houses, wash dishes, whatever she can do. And same with my dad. He had to do janitorial work, like clean the floors and things else. You do everything we can because we had no skills, we had no language. Everything else it was just not usable for in a new land. I, of course, my siblings doing what the family is supposed to do, so I followed my mom. I was cleaning toilets with her, I did everything, being a good son, but we were just trying to keep each other company. But my mom, I think she's quite wise. We typically say that even with all the money we had in Vietnam, she could not bring all of us to a country like the United States. In English called U-Hop, right? So you could not really bring all the kids to the United States and have this kind of education. But if she did, she would not be with us, right? Because usually you send your kids overseas and maybe you can see them again for their further life. And whatever happened, we all together in the United States. So this is a fortune in disguise. So please focus just only in your studies. That's your one job. And she would do whatever she can to support me in that. And now, thinking back, that's just something that we actually want to provide to our children also. But at that time, I just focused on one thing, and it was studying. And fortunately, it kind of came easy to me in the United States because when I was in Vietnam, through the education in Vietnam, as I remember, I was the last kid. There was 25 kids, I was the number 24, right? So I gave up. The environment wasn't supportive. But when the United States, same kid, same mind, I was quickly become number one. It's just a different nurturing environment. The focus on the why, not the what. I think a lot of educations, many countries focus on the what, remember everything. Here is a questioning everything. And I think this could be applied to startups very much. So that's what I did, and quickly just focus on one thing. I did pretty well in education. I got accepted to MIT, and just through being who I am, I think I'm fortunate to collect a lot of really good friends, very supportive friends. So that's one another thing is that just be who you are. And now I know it's cliche. Your business too. What is your business? Just be who you are. The right people will find you. The right people will support you. So that's what. And then after MIT, the slide basically talk about fear and love. And this is something that I think that is really reflective to whatever age you are. Right? Do what you love, but attack what you fear. So when I did pretty well academically, but I fear that I don't have experience, commercial experience, industry experience. So I jumped to Japan. And then that time Japan was really number one worldwide in terms of creating amazing products that consumers love. And from an academic point, I'm okay, it's what I want to do. But I fear I don't know how to basically create amazing products. So that's what I did in Japan. So after Japan and Mitsubishi, I learned how to be very structured, creating something with detail oriented. And then, but I fear that I'm too institutionalized, meaning I too very much doing the same thing, very same structure. So what I wanted is that maybe I don't know how to do diverse, meeting many people. So I went back to United States, I did a lot of startups, different people. Then did a startups, and then I got a chance of it. But like startups, many of you struggle, right? You struggle with funding, you struggle about find the right connection, you struggle trying to make it work. Right? But what you gain is a lot of ideas. You want to execute them all, but you cannot execute to the scale that you wanted because you worry about and execute all the little things. So I wanted to learn how to do it in a bigger scale. If I have this idea, how can I make it worldwide acceptance? Then that's when I decided to join Samsung. Because Samsung had a budget, has a market, had the size to do something. But if you're able to bring the right ideas to Samsung, I think you can make it big. And that's what I did, join Samsung. For 10 years, I worked on a lot of, I think, quite interesting ideas with Samsung. And I think that achieve certain things I want to do. But after 10 years, again, I fear that I will become too comfortable with some things. So I want to try something very different. So I quit Samsung and went to Vietnam. And one thing I fear about at this age, but that time I was 45 years old, at this age, starting a company again, I fear that I cannot be successful because I would compete with many young people like you, right? Like you guys would eat ramen, would do this thing and hustle. And I have such a comfortable life at being executive at Samsung. Always 5-star hotels, budget to drink and foods and all these things. That's what I fear. So when I got to Vietnam, I had to change my mindset. So I created a rule that I cannot be comfortable. So when I get to Vietnam, every 2 weeks, I change hotel, for example. Right? I change hotel. So the rule is every 2 weeks, my hotel fees had to reduce, let's say, $3. So I start with, let's say, $100, and then keep going down. So I keep hopping. And that allowed me to meet random people in different neighborhoods in Vietnam. Comfort is not the key. Focus on what you want to do. Right? So that's why I work on my fear. So at some point, I was at this nhà trọ, right? So I don't know how to, so it's more Airbnb, my nhà trọ. So I had to go to this alley. It's really dark. When you have your bike, you can't even turn around. Right? That was just so narrow. And then I have to walk up to 4 flights. And it's just a whole bunch of books and cats, right? And then get into my place. It's more like a conference table. And I slept on a conference table, right? And that probably the most amazing experience, really, going from Samsung to that. Because I feel like if I don't mind these things, I just focus on what's important. To there, rebuild a network. But anything you do, one thing I try to add value. Because if you learn how to add value to everybody around you, I think people will find ways to add value back to you. So when I in Vietnam, I try all the things that I think that would be very different. And a couple rules for me when I change in jobs. I work over maybe 8-9 different companies. My rules for changing jobs is that never work on the same thing with different title, different pay, different boss, different members. It's the same job, really. Let's say if you work for Samsung, you're doing a mobile, and then LG offer you more money to work on the mobile. It's the same job. You just pick different boss, different company name, maybe better, different title, and different money. It's the same thing. So it's not growth. Growth also work on your fear. Let's work on better offers. I know money is very important, but your self-worth, your growth is actually more important. There are a whole bunch of other stuff on my slide, I'm probably not here. Talk about comparisons between corporate and startups in Vietnam and let's say Silicon Valley. I will try to memorize some of them, okay? So just for fun, corporate versus startup experience for me is that, like I say, you work, you dream, you work hard every day. I think you work hard. You work every day in the corporate for me. What you dream about yearly bonus. Right? You dream like, okay, I work this. By the end of the year, I get a big fat check saying I did a good job. That's what I dream about. That I would do longer vacation with this money, with my family. And when you work a startup, you think a little bit. You think about you kind of like retire early, kind of thing, right? And then you can basically live the rest of your life vacation mode or non-profit or something, whatever you need. So the dreams are different. Business cards, for example, in a Samsung, when I printed stack of business cards, I swear 90% of the time I give to internal people, or to other Samsung people only. So your connection to outside is actually much less. But here, when you give the business card, you give 99%, you give to the people you don't know, people outside the company. You talk about corporate, ramen, things like that. In the United States, a few things I think the important takeaway for corporate versus startup for me is that when you work on a corporate, the company, the structure, already have a product in mind. You have a product. And then we work toward creating a process to create the product. Like, let's say Samsung mobile phone, they already have the specs, what you do. And you create the software process, hardware process, operating process, how to create the product perfectly. Then you hire people to follow the process. So the people, let's say they go to Vietnam, they want to hire people to follow the process. And let's say Samsung need you to read Korean. Well, we need to find Korean, Vietnamese, understand Korean, follow the process perfectly to create a perfect product. If people in Vietnam cannot do it, they go somewhere else. People are very replaceable because they just need to get somebody. If people cannot do it, machine can. Right? That would be a machine to replace human, to follow the process, to have a product. Startups were, of course, will be different. Our main assets is the people. Right? We're trying to find a co-founder, we're trying to think, we have a lot of ideas. We don't know which one to go, but somehow we are connected to have some kind of mission together. So people first. But then people from different places, let's say Huế or Da Nang, right? How to work together. Then you think about how to create a process so that people can connect and be efficient. So you need if you have communication, you cannot understand each other, then maybe we write in Vietnamese. If Vietnamese is not the way we write. So we find ways to connect human to human so we can do something efficient. 1 + 1, plus equal 3 kind of concept. Then, kind of weird, but product is last. Because through the process of human connected and efficiency, we have a lot more ideas. We try this, doesn't work, we pivot, we do something else, we pivot. The product is different. So the thinking is different on that. A few things that I find global difference about Vietnam and maybe, let's say Silicon Valley. Right? Silicon Valley and most people, they value time. Time is the most important thing for everyone. So therefore, they would create products. They create many things, services to save time. For example, Uber, right? Uber was created to save time. It's kind of weird, but it's actually trying to save time. Because instead of calling somebody and stand outside in the rain and wait for maybe the taxi come, all that 10, 15 minutes you're waiting for something could be used for something else. So what if there's an app, they are pin where you are, press, look at the car coming, right, we just walk out. The 15 minutes of your time can be saved. So therefore Uber in US, it's not about saving money because the cost is it's like a taxi plus some extra. So it wasn't about saving money. But in Vietnam, I'm generalizing, but time is what people have. Money is what people lack. So people try to do everything to save money. Like for example, I heard the #1 search in TikTok or Google is how to download free app. For example, right? How to download free movies or how to crack app or something. People spend so much time, 3 days, figure out how to download a free 99-cent app. Right? In US, you download the app, we can try, okay, enjoy it. Right? So I know it's smart, but it is an interesting mindset. So Grab, I see people trying to open Grab, Uber, and look at coupon code and try to figure, compare, and just think about it and press, and then you go, and they say it's a game, just trying to save money. And it is because we value what we don't have, right? So it's that's the concept. I think Vietnam, many people don't understand why would people in US spend like $10,000 to go on vacation 1 week with a family. They would use the $10,000 and maybe open a coffee shop or do something else. So it is different value. But that's allowed you to understand more what kind of company you create. You saving time or saving money. There's a lot of other comparisons that I apologize, I'll send it out later. But the gist of it is that most companies in the United States want to create a unicorn. A unicorn, like evaluate over $1 billion. And how do you get evaluation? They never talk about revenue, they talk about evaluation over $1 billion. Is that you create something of value to people, like save time, save pain, save something. And you try to get a lot of people using it. Like 10 million people using it. So because it's create value to somebody, and this 10 million users, they're not gonna pay. It's okay, they don't pay, right? So you just try to get that because you provide something that they're missing in their lives. Mostly about time, efficiently using their time. In Vietnam and in most countries I've been, the company created is called a workhorse, con trâu, con bò, ngựa, right? It's like every day you have to make money, right? So they investors look at Vietnam company more like a bank, looking as somebody walking alone. When you make my money back? How I give you 10,000. When I gonna get my money back? Each day, how you make money? Things like that. So it's really focused on it's not a bad thing, but it is a focus on how to be sustainable in the first place and can grow in revenue. It's revenue. And then maybe don't care what you do to get that money. Maybe the product and service kind of like make no sense. It doesn't scale internationally. It's only work for your little corner of the world. But it's okay because you're making money from that. That could be creating a coffee shop. They want building a coffee shop in Vietnam, but yet people still creating coffee shops and bánh mì and all this thing because you create that small value here. As long as you create low revenue, it's okay with that because everybody's just focused on returns in money. And it is good business. It is good business, but it's not the kind of world impact, right? That some of us, wanted to do, right? So each phase of our lives, we do things differently. At my age, I want to do something more global impact. Maybe at some of your age, you want to get some concrete experience building a company. So everybody work on that. So to take away a few things. One, the love and the fear. Embrace both. It's not bad. Embrace both. Always trying to find somebody that actually help you with your fear, while don't lose the love of something. The other part is open hands, mind, and heart. I think Vietnam, open mind. I met a lot of good people, very open-minded. Vietnam is one of the countries many foreigners coming in and say, people are so friendly, right? I don't know how to speak Vietnamese, but they embrace me. It's okay. If you go to America, if you cannot speak English well, I don't think you have the same kind of love, appreciation, and patience. So I think Vietnam is amazing about open mind. Open heart, I think they're quite diverse in economic and social. So I think that it could get some work, but I think it's there. But I feel that Vietnam really missing, and maybe starting with you guys, are missing hands. Meaning what you know, you share. Right? And don't worry about people copying, don't worry about that. Because you're trying to find people, you move on. Right? So what you have, you share. And hopefully it will come back. And this is the hardest part, I think, in Vietnam. Because if you're successful, you don't want to share how you're successful because people are going to steal like, the process, people who you hire or connection. If you fail, most people don't share that either. It's embarrassing. Right? So they don't sell failure and they would pretend that they was never a failure. So that I think this is hardest because now we don't learn from each other. We guess what's happening and we repeat the same mistake. So I appreciate environment like surf. I appreciate you guys come here and share. I think a lot of people come here to share something without any intentions about not us getting paid to do this. So I think we need more like this. And hopefully through connection, through Facebook, be open and more share. Okay, and I think that there's a lot of potential here. A lot of potential, especially for me, who actually live and work with many types of people all over the world with many years. I can see there's a lot of potential here. But we need to start changing ourselves and our circle of influence. Okay, but that's my thought. Thank you.